Hey, what's up everybody? It's Nick Chino from VigilanteDetective.com and welcome to my latest rock album review for the brand new album from the Smashing Pumpkins. It's called Shiny and Oh So Bright Vol.1 LP, No Past, No Future, No Sun. I think that might be the longest album title ever.
Who wants that honey? As long as there's some money.
Shiny and Oh So Bright Vol.1 is the follow-up to 2014's Monuments to an Elegy, and it sees the Smashing Pumpkins reunited. Well, at least most of them. Sorry, Darcy's not involved in this reunion. We got Jimmy Chamberlin, Billy Corgan, James Iha making their first music together since the Machina Records in 2000, along with Jeff Schroeder, a longtime member of the Smashing Pumpkins, and Peter Hook of New Order's son, Jack Bates. He's been playing bass for the band on tour, and yeah, you know, James Iha and Billy Corgan were able to mend the relationship earlier this year. The band went on tour, and now we have this new record, Shiny and Oh So Bright Vol.1, produced by Rick Rubin.
Today is the greatest. Today is the greatest day.
Now, I've been a Pumpkins fan for over 20 years. I've been with them for the long haul, and I've stuck with the Pumpkins after the original lineup broke up. You know, Billy's been, you know, keeping the name alive over the years with different members, and I've been with them for the entire journey. I'm here for the long haul, like I said. So, you know, I really loved Oceania from 2012. I liked Monuments to an Elegy from 2014, and in fact, right now on the channel, you can check out my video for Rock Albums Ranked, where I rank all the Smashing Pumpkins albums. That is up on the channel right now.
Be a lover in my bed, and a gun to my head. We must never be apart.
And as for this new record, if you're a Smashing Pumpkins fan who's maybe lapsed with the band over the years and you're coming back to them because the original lineup is reunited, you have Corgan, Iha, and Chamberlain. If that's the reason that you're coming back to the band and you're kind of hoping for them to recapture, you know, the kind of the magic of the Siamese Dream and Melancholy era, I'm sad to say that this record ain't it. All right, so let's get to each of the songs on this record. There's only 8 of them, so I'm just going to talk about each of these songs individually. Now, the song that kicks off this record is a song called Knights of Malta, which is a great title for a song, but the song itself, I didn't really like. It's good, and it's got some really kind of cool soul-y backup vocals that the Pumpkins have never done on their records, which I really enjoyed. But I don't like that, like, wah, 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 wah. Not really into that part of the song. It's very whiny, but there are parts of the song that I like. I just wish the opening track on this record had a little bit more oomph. Up next is Silvery Sometimes Ghosts, which is one of my favorite songs on this record. It's a grower for me. I didn't love it when I first heard it, but it's definitely, you know, started to grow on me since I've listened to it a bunch of times. It has a very kind of 1979 perfect kind of vibe to it. Nice guitar. Overall, the vibe of the song is very cool, and like I said, Silvery Sometimes Ghosts is probably one of my favorite tracks on the record.
Shakedown 1979. Cool kids never have a time.
After that, we have a song called Travels, and I've heard a bunch of songs on this record, and this was kind of like the first new song that I heard when I was listening to the album for the first time. The first song that was kind of a fresh listen for me. I liked the chorus, but, you know, I kind of thought the song was kind of lacking a little bit of energy. There was not much going on for, you know, a 5.5-minute song. It did have kind of like a nice, you know, wall of guitars going on, but overall, I found that song to be kind of boring, and I found it didn't really have the type of dynamics that you need for such a long song. After that, we have the first single released from this record called Solara, which has a very kind of zeitgeist kind of sound. That's the record the Pumpkins released when they got back together, or at least Billy and Jimmy did back in 2007, which was a decent record. Like, that record wasn't 100% bad, but it wasn't 100% good either. And Solara, even though it kind of brings the guitars in for the first time on this record, I found it has a little bit of the zeitgeist kind of sound, and the song overall is kind of meh. After that, we get to a song called Alienation, and it was just kind of like another kind of meandering song that lacked energy for me. Like, when I'm thinking back to it, it didn't really jump out to me at all. It didn't have any punch to it, and I felt that it was kind of like another mid-tempo track on this record when I was kind of hoping for some more energy and less of that kind of meandering, middle-of-the-road kind of sound. That being said, Alienation then leads into a song called Marchin' On, and this is kind of really the only real kind of powerful, punchy rock song that is on Shiny and Oh So Bright Volume 1. This song sounds like Smashing Pumpkins. Not to say that every song they do has to have those big guitars, because we know that the Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan, have so many different styles that they can do. But for a record I was kind of hoping to have some more energy and some more guitars, this was the song that I really enjoyed, and I thought it was really cool. Why isn't this the first song on the record? Why isn't Marchin' On, like the song that's kicking off this album? If it had, I would have been kind of like on board from the get-go, as opposed to, it being buried on the album, track number 6. This should be the first song on the album. It should have been the first single. It should have been the first everything, and I don't know why it's buried on this record. After that, we have a song called With Sympathy, which reminded me of the song Try, Try, Try from the Machina album, which is a song I absolutely love. And there were some cool backing vocals on this track as well, but overall, kind of like songs like Alienation and Travels, it was just kind of like another kind of middle-of-the-road, kind of like boring song that I just, after a song like Marchin' On, I was kind of disappointed for the album to kind of dip back down again. And then the album finishes with, the 8th song. There's only 8 songs on this record. It finishes with a song called Seek and You Shall Destroy. And again, it had some nice guitars on it, nothing too crazy. But again, I just wasn't super into this song. I know I gotta listen to this album a couple more times because it might sink in for me a little bit, might grow on me. But right now, I'm just kind of like, guys, where's the energy on this? The Rick Rubin production, it's kind of lacking as well. The drums don't sound like they have a lot of energy. The vocals sound like they're kind of rushed and maybe even kind of out of tune at times. I don't know. For a Rick Rubin record, I was expecting it to sound a lot better. Overall, this album is a lot more understated than I expected. I expected more energy on this album. It was a lot more mid-tempo than I expected, and I think overall the songwriting was kind of weak, especially, and here's the thing, I'm not one of those fans who's like only into Siamese Dream and Melancholy and Gish and the early stuff. Like I said, I've stuck with Billy and the Pumpkins throughout their entire career, and I don't think that this album really has anything on like an album like Oceania from 2012 or even Monuments to an Elegy. I think both those records were better than this. Also, I don't really feel the presence of James Iha on this record. It's hard to tell the guitar parts that he played versus the guitar parts that Billy played, but overall, I kind of wish that Iha's personality, maybe some backup vocals, maybe even a song that he wrote on this record would have helped him to, kind of have more of a role. I know he's there. I know he's playing with the band on stage, but Iha, in his own right, is a great songwriter and performer, and I would have liked to kind of hear more of his involvement on the actual record. Overall, if you're looking for a kind of a classic Pumpkins record, like I said, I don't think this is it. And I've been reading a lot of comments online that people are really enjoying this record, and that's great because the band is back together. You got Corrigan, you got Iha, you got Chamberlain. It's great to have the band back together. But if you're one of those fans, like I said, who's kind of, not been with the band the entire time and you were hoping, for a reunion record that kind of continued the vibe of, Siamese Dream and Melancholy, then I'm sad to say that Shiny and Oh So Bright is not that record. If you want that record, like I said in my ranked video, go to 2012, go to Oceania. That is the album that will get you closest to that Smashing Pumpkins, Siamese Dream, Melancholy sound. Not that that's what they have to do completely, but I think a lot of fans are going to come into this record expecting a certain sound, and they may not get it when they're listening to this record. So I was very disappointed to kind of have something so kind of middle of the road for this big Smashing Pumpkins reunion record. However, I am looking forward to Shiny and Oh So Bright Volume 2. My only hope is that the Smashing Pumpkins already have the album in the can, okay? One of my pet peeves with any band, and especially the Smashing Pumpkins, is when they announce a big project and then they abandon it. And that's what Billy Corgan did precisely with the Tear Garden by Kaleidoscope record. He's like, I'm going to release 44 songs on the internet, and then he eventually ended up releasing like 20 or 30 something songs and then giving up on it. And so I hope that doesn't happen with Shiny and Oh So Bright Volume 2. And this record better be already in the can, okay? The band said they went in and recorded with Rick Rubin. They said Volume 2 2 is on the way. So I better see Volume 2 within 6 months to a year. If I hear next year that the band's like, oh, we haven't recorded it yet, then I'm calling BS, because they said this is going to be a 2-album project and that the albums are both going to be coming out within a relatively short time. So I hope that it's already in the can and that it's ready to go, because if we have to wait too long, Chino's going to be pissed. Yeah, so I'm hoping that the Smashing Pumpkins maybe save the better material, stuff like Marching On, for the Volume 2 of Shiny and Oh So Bright. But unfortunately, as a diehard Pumpkins fan, I wished that I liked this record more, but you know what? It was a little bit disappointing for me. It wasn't quite the record that I was hoping for or expecting. I'm glad that fans out there might be liking it and are enjoying the reunion, but it didn't do too much for me. It didn't really go as far as I wanted it to for the reunion of the Pumpkins. So I'm going to give the new album from the Smashing Pumpkins, Shiny and Oh So Bright, Volume 1, a 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10? Come on, Billy. You know, you got a lifelong fan of me. I've been here the entire time. I've been with you through thick and thin. I was hoping you really could have pulled out a good record on this one. I'm not sure how many times I'm going to go back to this record. It kind of feels uninspired for me, but I'm going to continue to listen to it and hope that it's going to grow on me and become one of my favorite Pumpkins albums. Unfortunately, when I'm doing these reviews, I try to get them out as soon as possible from when an album comes out so we can kind of discuss it, and while, you know, it's kind of fresh in people's minds, and that doesn't necessarily lead to, you know, multiple listens before I get to put out these videos. But maybe I'll do a follow-up in 6 months' time and see if the record has grown on me. But let me know what you thought of the new record from the Smashing Pumpkins in the comments below. Make sure to give me a like on this channel. I would appreciate that, or a like on this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and share this video with your fellow rock fans and fellow Pumpkins fans. I will see you guys in the next rock album review.